Happy Monday. Time for Monday Musings. And today we're talking about adjusting to new normals. Over the past so many months, I've done Monday Musings and I've alluded to the fact that there are new responsibilities, new things going on in my life, stuff that it's come. So today is the day that we're going to really delve into it and talk about it. So, super long story short. Try to make it short as I can for the sake of the Monday musing. At the turn of the year, I began with having two properties. One in Los Angeles, one in Phoenix. In addition to that, a gentleman who I had spoken to in times past about mentoring me on property management and ownership took me up on my offer. And so that mentorship began. On top of that, the same gentleman was losing his bookkeeper. So then I became his bookkeeper, and a learning curve of learning how to manage books for numerous bank accounts and multiple properties. In addition to that, as those who know, I'm a youth leader, and so I renewed my commitment to mentoring young people at Job Corps. In addition to that, I know, it was like in addition to that, I started making adjustments in my own life to accommodate the fact that these changes are coming. With regards to the house in Phoenix, that meant monthly travel. So my normal month was going like this. First week of the month, going to work in the church office because I am still the administrator there. I'm still the corporate secretary there. Back up. Mondays we're starting with property management. Driving around to all the different properties, checking them out, checking on the tenants, what's going on, what's wrong, checking what needs to be done. After that, go do bookkeeping. Do a little bit of bookkeeping, get on top of it. After that, head to the church office to do a little bit of work and get ready for a leadership meeting that began that Monday. It's every first Monday. Tuesday was wake up, try to capture whatever I did not do. By that Tuesday, head into the church office, get some work done, try to get it all done in a decent amount of time because it was First Tuesday, which is when I mentored the youth at Job Corps. And that pushes me over to Wednesday, which became the day that was really Bible study. So now I'm trying to pick up on work I could not get done for my own clients because I still have web clients. I still have graphic design clients. I do still have notary clients. So yes, I still get calls for those. So by the time Wednesday evening comes around, I will go stay at the house in Los Angeles and then try to get work done there because there was still a lot to pull together that my mother left behind that were things that fell on me to finish. And then by that Friday at that time, I was still doing Meals on Wheels. And after I do Meals on Wheels, then I try to run a few errands and I go to my bookkeeping job. And then that would put me onto my Saturdays, which either was volunteering or had an activity or an event going on. And now we circle back around to Sundays, which even though our church started at 10 a.m., we're done by 12 because of my responsibilities. That generally meant that I'm starting somewhere around 8:30 or 9. And at that time, we still had Sunday school, so I was teaching Sunday school. Get up by 7, get to church by 8:15 to get ready for 8:30 Sunday school, and then move on into service. And then by the time Sunday ended, at that time, I was trying to go do things at the house in Los Angeles. And then by February, now I'm checking in on my aunt, making sure everything's okay with her. So this was my schedule for about a good couple months. And then all of a sudden, by the time about March comes around, now my schedule included flying to Phoenix once a month. I would do all the normal, the meetings, the Job Corps, and then Wednesday morning, get up, fly out. I'm gone to Phoenix, there till Saturday, come back, start over. Well, with that being said, in addition to other responsibilities, that became my new normal on things that you need to get done. And a part of it did have to do with the fact that, Lord, I prayed and asked you for some of these things. I've asked you for property ownership. I've asked you how to manage property and how to manage books for a property. I've asked you how to reach young people. So in all honesty, a lot of these things I had asked God for, so I wasn't necessarily pushing back to reject because what they say, when you ask God for something, be prepared for when he gives it to you. And that's what was happening. Well, those who know me know I will build in a break. I will take a break here and there, and I'll take 2 or 3 days that are to myself. I'm not going to do anything. Don't ask for me. Don't look for me. I may go to a spa or whatever. So I was able to do that, and that's what kind of helped balance me out over time. Well, after a while, you're like, I need some more breaks. But this is what I ended up discovering. I was making time for everything except an intentional break. I was taking haphazard breaks, like, oh, I haven't scheduled anything. So how about I go ahead and make Thursday a day I don't do nothing because I didn't schedule anything. Oh, I didn't put anything on Friday. I'm going to go ahead and make Friday my day. Well, after this past weekend, when a lot of these things all came in at the same time, those who know I'm a photographer as well. I work for a conference, so I was doing photography work for this conference, and it's a new camera. And using this new camera, I didn't realize it had a different weight than my previous camera. So I'm carrying it around, taking pictures, doing all I would normally do, and not thinking about this weight is different. So what happens? End up developing tendonitis. And on top of all that, because all the activity things I've been doing, as well as I am getting older, I end up developing a lower back pain that they've described as degenerative bone something, fancy word for arthritis. So by the time this weekend comes around, I went to Phoenix for a week, came back, went to this conference for a week, came back, dealing with properties, all of that. It all hit at one time. And I found myself in this state of, I don't want to. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to see people. And I think the emotional break of it came because in my mind, I had decided I'm going to have a Thursday and a Friday off. Again, in my mind. Get to looking at my calendar, realizing, oh, you have something Thursday on your calendar. You got a couple things Thursday on your calendar. Oh, well, no problem, Friday. You got a few things Friday on your calendar. You do. Okay, Saturday is going to be mine. I get a phone call. We're still on for Saturday. And I want you to know, the person who called me Saturday was understanding. And they says, you know what? There's a thing when a person works a 9 to 5. They have sets of responsibilities that are they're dictated and they are ritualistic. So you know Monday through Friday what you're going to deal with on some level. You got a certain job title, certain task. It's kind of set. But in my particular scenario, there is no set anything. So any given day, my brain is pulled in 4 or 5 different directions any given day. Like I said, I give today as an example. Wake up this morning, it was one particular issue. The next one was a property issue. The next one had to do with a maintenance issue. The next one had to do with a city issue that had to do with one of the properties. The next one had to do with a utility issue and a vendor. The next one had to do with a post office issue. The next one was a bookkeeping matter. The next one was a banking matter. After all of that, it became a church matter. And what ends up happening is over time, your mental, when you have so many different variables to any given day in your life or week in your life, it's pulling here. Not just physical, it's mental. So my lesson learned through this and adjusting to new normals, because in all honesty, everything that I'm doing, it's truly preparing me, because I'm already knowing that 2020 is going to be a fantastic year. Everything that God has been putting in place, layering in place, it's all coming to fruition. But I got to put in the work for that. It's not going to be a bed of roses to there. God is guiding me. He's leading me. He's showing me these things. So as I'm sharing this Monday musing, because it's something for you to muse on too. What are things that are going on in your life that they may be pulling you in different directions? They may be asking more of you than you've ever given before. They are. You're having to tap into a part of your life that you didn't know you could tap into. Increases your prayer life, increases your relationship with God. Everything changes and becomes far more dynamic. But ultimately, you know there's a payout on the other end. Now, when it gets back to how do you adjust, this is what I came away with. Just how you're intentional about what you're going to do with your plans, be intentional about giving yourself time. Be intentional about that. No matter what it is, family, whatever, parenting, there are times when you say, you know what, I got to schedule my no time. So in the midst of my Saturday sitting around, like, you know what, thank God I'm here by myself. I wish I had a few more days, but we're not going to wish no more. We're going to plot that in. And this is how I'm going to adjust to my new normal. So every month there is a window of time that is calendared. For me, calendar, because if you live in a dynamic life, you got to calendar everything. You can't just rely on the fact that every day going to be the same, because life isn't that way anymore, not for anybody in general society. It just isn't. So now you have to get to calendaring. So right now, that's what I did. I sat there and I calendared time that I cannot book anything else. When something comes up in my life and I look at those days, it's already on my calendar that those days are not available. So I'm sharing that tip. Although I don't do quick tip Tuesdays anymore, Monday musings are still about thinking about how we do things. How do we process things? How do we handle things? How do we handle life? Family, friends, children, work, responsibilities, marriage, dating. All these things kind of go together to pull on us as human beings. They pull on us because we all got something we want to accomplish. And guess what? In the middle of that, you can adjust to your new normal by calendaring all your things and being intentional. It's not that you can't have big hopes and dreams. You're supposed to. God made you great so you can have big hopes and dreams. But be intentional about how to balance that out. That's it. Be intentional on how to do the world, but also go somewhere and sit down. And don't even pay attention to the world. Okay? So I'm hoping my life becomes a learning lesson for others, just as I learned from many of you who join me and support me through my life. Thank you for being my cheer team. Thank you for being my prayer partners. Thank you for having my back through it all. And I look forward to celebrating with you every time God does something great. And I look forward to praying with you when I'm having an off moment. Because once again, it's okay to not be okay. We just don't stay that way. And this is how we adjust to our new normals. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.